Good morning. We're going live today. Hope everyone is having a wonderful kickoff to your Tuesday morning. A little reminder for anyone and everyone that is interested here locally that wants to attend our event, our local event. Normally the last Thursday of the month, we're having a live event. And now we're going to start doing them in Spanish as well. So this week, we'll be having a live event on Wednesday, Spanish, 6 p.m. And Thursday, we'll be having our English seminar. And we'll be doing that here live as for any of you guys are in the Lubbock area. And then as well as, of course, we'll have the Zoom. So y'all can go to immastermind.com, go to our website. You can click on the link and get your ticket. And of course, we have these Scaling for Life classes Monday through Friday, and also we have our Creator's Lifestyle and our Business Matrix programs you can take part in. And I suggest you do that because the only thing that you could keep doing is what you've been doing. And I know that you're worthy of so much more. We are all worthy of so much more. The question is, do we believe that's possible for us? Do we believe that we can accomplish more than what we've done? What do we want? When you start to think of what you want, you start to get the ideas of what it is that you need to do. And I want everyone to really think that anytime and every time they've ever thought about going beyond, why is it that they shut down? Why is it that your fears, your doubts, and the worries get in front of you and hold you back? Well, it's because the mind was programmed to do that. The brain's automatic nerve is kicked in to release hormones to cause you to go back into your comfort zone. Why is it important? Because you want more. It's very important to get the understanding of how this brain and mind work so that we can move in the direction of our lives that we truly desire. How do we do that? By setting goals. People are not earning the amount of money that they're earning annually by accident. They're earning $50,000 a year, not because they can't earn more, because they don't know how to earn more. They don't just earn $100,000 a year because that's all they can do. They earn $100,000 a year because they don't know how to earn more. And this just goes on and on and on. And when you look at the way we do things as society, there's all these different brackets. According to these brackets and where you fall in, according to what you can earn, everybody normally conforms to one degree of those brackets or another. Now, this is what I was talking about, this conformity, and how this fear, doubt, and worry causes you to stop. But it's causing you to stop because you've gone as far as your intelligence can take you. And the truth is, if you stop learning more, if you stop stretching, you've gone as far as you can go. You could be in your 20s. You could be in your 30s. The average individual normally conforms around 24 to late 30s normally. Normally by that age, they're done. You can look at the statistics yourself. It's rare somebody's going to keep pushing, keep growing, and keep learning to do more and be more and have more. When I say that, I mean doing that in a big way, not just little increments at a time through their whole life. If they're earning $50,000 a year, they're not aware that they could earn $50,000 a month. There's so many ways to stop what you're doing. the chances are you won't, because you didn't know there was a paradigm inside you. You didn't know there was a program inside of you. You didn't know that there was beliefs that hold you from acquiring what you desire. You didn't know that there were certain laws inside of you that govern you, govern even the way you think. You think that you're thinking. But really what's been thinking is your intelligence. And you got your intelligence from the people around you. People are not impoverished or broke by accident. They're in that manner because that's what they were programmed to be. And if you want to go beyond, you've got to be willing to set goals that are worthy of you. You've got to be willing to step out of your comfort zone or learn to be somebody completely different. When I say that, I mean literally learn to become somebody different. Your way's not working. Why don't you try ours? We have these classes all month long, and we do it on purpose because that's how you change. That's how you become more self-aware. Aware enough to where you change what you're doing. I'm going to play a little bit of Bob's video here. He's going to get into the power of paradigms, and that's going to give you a better understanding of what we're talking about. Zach, are you all ready?
Let's think about it. Let's really think about it. Paradigms. What are they? A paradigm is a mental program that has almost exclusive control over our habitual behavior. Now think about that. And here's what you want to remember. Almost all of our behavior is habitual. When you get up in the morning, you follow a routine. If you're married, your spouse follows a routine and you don't mess around with the other person's routine. That's just the way it works. Now let's take a look at what a paradigm is and how it controls us. This is really important. Your paradigm. Let's look at the areas of your life your paradigm has enormous influence over. Your paradigm controls your perception. Paradigm programming. I'll frequently go up to a person and a seminar, and I'll say, if I ask the audience what color you were, what would they tell me? They'd say I'm black. Okay? And you'd say, I'm white. But the truth is, you're not black and I'm not white. Now, everybody looks at me, where's he going? The person's skin may be dark, but it's not black. My skin may be light, but it's not white. If you ever saw a white person, you'd probably scream and run. See, the problem is we don't see with our eyes. We see through our eyes. We see with cells of recognition in our brain. Our perception is messed up. We see something that isn't even there. And even after I say that, they say, no, he's black. No, not white. That's what you see. You see with cells of recognition in your brain. Well, when you shift your perception, everything in your world changes. You see, my perception of what I was capable of doing like that started to change when I had the right information. See, you've got to spend time and you've got to spend money if you're going to change you. Back around 1970, Alvin Toffler wrote a book called Future Shock. And the idea behind it was the future is going to shock people. And it was a prediction of what was going to happen over the next 40 or 50 years. And I remember reading a book. I was working at Nightingale Conant in Chicago at the time, and it was quite a popular book, and everybody said, wow, this couldn't possibly happen. Well, we thought Alvin Toffler was really daydreaming, and he really was, but he fell short. We did far more than what he projected. Now, recently, Toffler came out again. And he said the illiterate of the 21st century are not going to be the people who cannot read and write. They're going to be the people who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Now think about that. They're going to be the people who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. This is really important. He was really daydreaming, and he really was. But he fell short. We did far more than what he projected. Now, recently, Toffler came out again, And he said the illiterate of the 21st century are not going to be the people who cannot read and write. They're going to be the people who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. Now think about that. They're going to be the people who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. This is really important. Our paradigm causes our perception. Our paradigm controls our use of time. Everybody gets exactly the same amount of time. They get all there is. You see, it's what we do with our time that makes the difference. One individual will accomplish more in a week than another person will in a year. Some people can earn more in a day than other people will in a year. How are you utilizing your time? People buy time management programs. That is a joke. Time can't be managed. No one can manage time. The only thing we can manage is activities. Now think about it. You know, the paradigm controls our creativity. We'll find people say, well, I'm really not creative. Why do we have great big companies and little wee creative departments? Because we're raised to believe some people are creative and some are not. Everybody is creative. We have these creative faculties. What we want to do is learn how to develop them. Think. How about being effective? Our perception controls, or our paradigm controls our effectiveness. You see, the paradigm is a program in our subconscious mind that controls the vibration we're in, therefore it controls what we do, and it controls what we attract into our life. Our paradigm controls our productivity. It literally controls our productivity. As I shift my paradigm, my productivity goes right through the roof. Our paradigm controls our logic. And you know something? Logic is that ceiling we keep banging against. When those two young bicycle mechanics back around 1903 from Dayton, Ohio, said we're going to get a plane in the air, everybody thought they were out of their mind, but they got it in the air. Now somebody said, but they only kept it up there for 14 seconds. It was a matter of perception. They said, we not only got it in the air, we kept it in the air for 14 seconds. And look at today. You know, last week I flew to Dubai on Emirates, and I had a little room to myself. I had a shower. I had a shower going over, and I had a shower coming back. The floor is heated when you get out of the shower. This is at 35,000, 40,000 feet, going a few hundred miles an hour. Long ways from where the paradigm was changed by the Wright brothers. The whole world believed we couldn't fly. They went through logic. Logic has changed. The world believed that you couldn't get to the top of Mount Everest. I had the good fortune of working with Edmund Hillary on 2 or 3 occasions. The only difference in him and anybody else is his size. He was a big man. He's gone now, God bless him, but he changed a lot of paradigms. Your paradigm also controls your ability to earn money. That's right. When you change your paradigm like that, your income starts to change. You see, you should spend everything you've got and all the time you've got to really get in and understand this concept of paradigms, because it'll change your life. Now look at it. You're boxed in the way you are. There's actually a box around all these areas. You try and you try and you try to get more out of the day. You know, you try and earn more money, but we're boxed in. We're boxed in. And I don't care how hard you try, you hit those walls. And next month will be much the same as this month. I could go to any sales manager, and I guarantee you, just go on their computer, and they will tell me what any one of their salespeople are going to do in August. And they won't be far off. They can predict what the sales are going to be. Why? Because people don't change much. You don't change much unless you understand paradigm. And then you can change anything. Now look at it. When you decide to change the paradigm, at that moment, watch, the walls come tumbling down. That doesn't mean anything changes, but now it can change. And I want you to just imagine how your entire life will change as you begin improving any or all of these areas. My goodness, I watch people and the change is enormous. Imagine, the change can be huge. The change can be huge. And here's something else. When you change the paradigm, change is permanent. I've never gone back. Never gone back. I keep going ahead. I keep earning more. I keep having more fun. I keep becoming more productive. Think of it this way for a moment. Let's suppose you just mastered the use of your time. You managed your activities. When you wake up in the morning like that, you're productive. You really get things flying. Have you any idea if that was the only thing you changed, how much more money you'd earn? It would be enormous. You know all you need to do? All you need to do is make a decision. It's so simple and so misunderstood. Now, of course, you're going to be laughed at by almost everyone. When you tell them that you're involved in this program or you're going to do that, they'll laugh at you. Do you know, I like what James Cookie said. He said, do just once what others say you can't do, and you'll never pay attention to their limitations again. Just do once what others say you can't do. I really don't pay any attention to what anybody tells me when they tell me I can't do something. I know I can. Now, I'm going to take you through a process here that is
Do just once what others say you can't do, and you will never pay attention to their limitations again. Huge. Huge. Do just once what others say you can't do, and you will never pay attention to their limitations again. You know that the people that you're around, chances are they fall in the 97, 98% of people that are really not going to go much further. And I can say that because I know that. I can say that because I know that. I can say that because I've done the research. I could say that because I look around, see people stuck all the time. I could say it because I see that people really are not understanding their true potential. But they don't even know they're stuck, majority of them. They don't even know what's possible. I've heard people say, why do you get up so early? Why are you studying that? Those people are still in the same places they were when I left them. Accident? Nope. On purpose and right on plan. Because I didn't want to stay where I was at. And the people that surround you today, they're where they're at. On accident? Nope. Right on plan. If your beliefs don't change, your perception doesn't change. And if your perception doesn't change, your behaviors do not change. And almost all behavior is habitual. So your automatics just keeps on going. And you don't even know what the problem is. If your beliefs, which is your intelligence, what you know. Now, I've said this several times, it's not what you don't know that holds you back, it's what you know. That's where your programming was made. What you know, what you believe, is what holds you back. And what you know and what you believe about yourself to yourself is what develops a perception. And then this perception develops a behavior. And almost all behavior is habitual. Before you know it, you're locked in. You're deadlocked on the will to fail. Why would I say you're deadlocked in the will to fail? If you really knew what you were doing, you wouldn't do it. If you really knew that if you carried on this same behavior for the next 40, 50 years, 60 years, and you didn't go any further, you didn't know that you were using your will to failure. 97, 98% of the people are using the will to fail. They've got the wrong mindset. And if you're not willing to learn this information, If you're not willing to learn how the mind works, you are all you'll ever be. You may be saying, how could he say that? Because I know. I've been there. I know. See, there's a program written in your subconscious mind, and you don't know that. There's a program written in there, and it's so thick, you think that you're thinking. Your perceptions are thinking. Your beliefs are thinking. And every time you're trying to go outside of it, that thing stops you. How do we go beyond it? You've got to set a goal bigger than your fears. You've got to set a goal that's so big, outside of your intellect, outside of what you know how to do. Then you got to be willing to take the responsibility to go and learn whatever it is you have to learn to become who you said you wanted to be in the first place. And if you're not willing to learn who you have to become, you're on the wheel to fail again. I've seen people say, I want to own a business. And they're not willing to learn every in and out of that business. You're on the wheel to fail. I've seen this over and over because I work with people all the time. If you're not willing to learn every area of your business, how it's supposed to work, the way it's supposed to work, how to manage, how to create net incomes, you're on the wheel to fail. And I go back to, there really is no failure. It's folly. If you don't like it, you've got to go back and change who you are. You did that. I've done that. I had to go back and work on what I was doing and go learn what I had to learn to be who I set out to be in the first place. And if we're not willing to learn, we don't go to the next step. We don't go to the next level. We've got to be willing to unlearn what we knew, what we thought we knew, and we've got to be willing to learn what we need to learn to become who we want to see outside. This is how we grow. We grow by setting goals bigger than us. And I'm not talking about just a wee little goal. A wee little goal gives you wee little results. I'm talking about setting massive goals. And that's not normal. But then I didn't want to be normal. I want you to think about something. If I would have put Edison, Ford, Rockefeller, Andrew Carnegie, if I would have put all these men in a room before they set their goals, or as they were setting the goals, and we were all in a seminar, and they started to roll off their goals and talk about what they were working on, that wouldn't be normal either. And yet those men were doing something completely different. And nobody could say they started off with money because none of them did. And none of them finished school. Some of them didn't even get to high school. Junior high. So if these men can be the beginning of their legacy and leave their name in time around the world, and can set goals beyond what are normal, everybody in the room would probably turn around and look at them and say, these guys are crazy. And yet, this is exactly what I'm telling you is what we're doing. Not only that, I'm telling you, we're studying the same material that they were. A lot of this information, and it goes beyond their time. I can say that. They weren't thinking normal. They didn't set normal goals. And they paved the path. I've done things that are not normal. I didn't want to be normal. I kept looking around what normal meant. And I knew that I didn't want to have what they have. But that also had to mean that I was going to have to not do as they do. I was going to have to not think as they think. I was going to have to unlearn what they learned. I was going to have to unlearn what I learned. And then I was going to have to develop myself from within. I was going to have to develop a bulletproof attitude. I didn't care what anybody said. I didn't care what the people around me were saying. You can't do that. Who do you think you are? I had to develop a bulletproof attitude and solely work on my vision. And before you know it, I was paving the path in a whole new horizon. And everybody that was saying those things are in the same places they were. And I tried to take people with me, and they were not ready for the change. I wanted to take everyone with me. They were not willing to do the work that I was willing to do. And the truth of the matter is, not a single one of them was ready to do the work that I was ready to do. I have a partner that decided to do some of this work. But this was years down the line of paving the path, surpassing people. Why is it so important to understand this information? You don't want to understand this information. You don't want to understand life and how it really works. And if you're not willing to learn it, you are all you've got. If people really understood, you don't have a choice. You honestly really don't have a choice. You either stay more or less where you are, what you've done, or you decide to grow. Grow up. Grow up means taking responsibility. Now, anybody of any great success that I've met have been studying this information. Maybe not directly from Procter & Gallagher Institute, but they've been researching these old books and old information. Each and every one of them tell you it's exact, true. I've met competence men that were doing things without even knowing that they were doing things in the right way. But those people that fall in that 3%, each and every one of them will tell you what he's got is right. Anybody that's, and the funny part about this is we have consulting and coaching, and we work with different people, different parts of life, different walks, people that are educated with master's, doctorate's degrees I've worked with, and people with no degrees. And I've seen people from both ends of the spectrum take off like a rocket and turn around earning millions of dollars later. Why? Because the mind works the same in each and every one of us. I've worked with people that were stuck earning millions. I work with people that were stuck working with billions. I work with people that were flat broke. We're all the same. There's only one mind. It's how we use it. It's how we use it. How can we develop ourselves to go beyond what we are? There's only one way. You've got to work on you. Take a look at this.
Earth-shattering if you really understand it. I want you to let that represent you. Now, the X represents, that's the algebraic equation for the unknown. Everybody has a paradigm. Everybody. I've got one. And when you change it, then you've got to change it again. You're forever upgrading it. You see, Your spiritual DNA is perfect. You were created in God's image. You've got phenomenal potential locked up within you, deep reservoirs of talent and ability that you can bring to the surface. We're going to say the paradigm represents X. The paradigm controls the vibration that this thing is in. The body is a molecular structure. It's a mass of molecules and a very high speed of vibration. Your body vibrates so fast it appears to be still. If you had a Curlian photography or a Curlian camera, you could actually photograph the energy leaving the body. Your body's in a very high speed of vibration, and the vibration dictates what you attract into your life. What kind of thoughts do we think? There's a power flowing into our consciousness. We can think anything we want. We think thoughts that are in harmony with the paradigm. Now, I want you to listen really carefully. The paradigm controls the vibration. On a conscious level, we say the vibration is feeling. Somebody says, how do you feel? You say, I don't know, I don't feel that good today. Now, what they could say is, I'm consciously aware that I'm in a bit of a negative vibration. Or if they say, I feel phenomenal, they could say, I'm consciously aware of being in a very positive vibration. We choose thoughts that are in harmony with the paradigm because it doesn't upset the apple cart. It keeps us in the same vibration. Now, people are in a vibration that's giving them results they don't want, but they're comfortable in it. That's what you call the comfort zone. They're thinking thoughts that are in harmony with what they're doing. They may not like the results, but they feel comfortable. Now, this is a process. We're going to go ahead. So watch this for a moment. Now, that was called bondage. This one's called reason. We're going to say a why idea comes into the conscious mind. Now, somebody may be giving you a why idea about how you could change the direction of your life right now. I'm giving you one right now. I'm going to ask you to make a decision. It's a why idea. Some people have a why idea. My brother-in-law, when he was in his early 50s, he had built 3 safety supply companies for other people. He had run them and built them. An opportunity came for him to buy a small safety supply company. They were scared. My sister and my brother-in-law were scared. They were in their early 50s. They mortgaged their house, they took all their savings, and they bought this little company. They were scared stiff. I said, go for it. Well, today that company's a multi-million-dollar company. They're sort of semi-retired. Their son and his sons run the company. It's operating all over North America. Very successful company. See, it was a why idea. Now, many people entertain why ideas. I get a why idea. Maybe I'm going to move to another city. I get a why idea. I'm going to buy something, buy a new car. I'm going to quit my job and start a business. That's a why idea. As long as the idea remains in the conscious mind, everything's cool. Nothing happens. Yet when you get emotionally involved in the idea, when you go to act on it, that all hell breaks loose. Now let's look at this. Here we are here. The why idea is impressed upon the X-type energy. You move into what's called an XY vibration. A barrier comes bouncing up, we call a terror barrier. Worry, fear, and anxiety strike, and like that, you're right back where? Into bondage. That happens at warp speed. You've got to realize you're dealing with the central nervous system, the most complex electrical system known to man. And that's what you're dealing with. When you get onto a track that you're not in harmony with, everything goes crazy. This is what Joseph Campbell says. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. You should never, absolutely never ask someone else what they think you should do unless that person has already done what you want to do. Go to the experts for advice. Somebody asked me, should I mortgage my house and buy a business? I say, is that what you want? Then go for it. Because I'm going to tell you, I would not want to be real old, tied in a wheelchair, or in a cribbed bed. My mind is sharp as a tack, but my body spent. Looking back over my life saying, gosh, I wonder what would happen if we had done this. I wonder what would happen if we had done that. I wonder if I had listened to Proctor that time that we saw him on the computer. I wonder what would have happened. If only I could, but you can't. Wouldn't it be much better if you ended up there at the end of the road, reliving all those beautiful moves? What do? Look, when you want to do something, you know that terrier barrier is coming up. When you want to do something that you've never done, when you're going off into a space you've never been before, crash right through that terror barrier. Just go zingo, right through. Now, when you do that, does that eliminate the fear? No, it doesn't. But at least you know what's causing the fear. You see, you've got to go where you've never been. Steve Jobs put it very well. You cannot connect the dots looking ahead. You can only connect the dots looking backwards. The people that make it, they're going into the unknown all the time. Now, if you're following someone who really knows what they're talking about, I really know what I'm talking about when it comes to this subject. I train psychiatrists in this. I train managers in some of the largest companies in the world. I've helped, I don't know how many people become very wealthy. You've got to go through that terror barrier. And when you do that, everything beautiful starts to happen. Now, I'm going to show you another thing. You're going to make a decision to do that. And when you keep impressing that over and over, the fear's still there. But one day, the old conditioning is gone. Now you're really comfortable in your new spot. Now, you've experienced that in your life. You've already experienced it. Now, you know what happens? The why turns into action. You start all over again. That's how you keep going up. All the days of your life. Keep getting better. Better is a nice word. But you got to make decisions. Now, I'm going to show you something about decisions most people never, ever learn. Look at this for a moment. Let these lines represent levels of vibration. Now, levels of vibration are more commonly referred to as frequencies, and you and I think on frequencies. We think on frequencies. So let's say that these puffy little clouds represent our thoughts. And our thoughts produce our results. That's where we started, isn't it? Take a look at the results. Why do we get this? It's because of the way we're thinking. So we keep thinking this way. We're going to keep getting the same results. But we say, that's where I want to go. That's where I want to go. I'm going to do that as soon as I get the money. I'm going to do that as soon as the kids are out of school. I'm going to do that as soon as what? The results aren't going to change because the thinking changes. You see, you've got to say, I'm doing that. And the second you make the decision, you flip your brain onto the frequency that you have to be on to think the thoughts you have to think to get the good you want. Just think in your past. Look in your past. You'll say, I want that. It didn't matter that you didn't have the money. You say, I'm going to do that. And you'd always find the money. Go take a look in your house. Take a look at all the stuff in your house. Most of it you don't need. You know why you got it? Because you wanted it. When you really want something, when you say, I'm going there, I'm going to make that happen. I make the decision. Boom, boom, boom. You get onto a new frequency. You know, I've started, I don't know how many companies. I've never had a business plan. I just have the picture, and then I go for it. You never heard Martin Luther King say, we have a strategy. No. He said, we have a dream. You got to have a dream. When you have a dream, then you act like the person you want to become. You see yourself already with it. Now look at. You've got to think. You really have to think. Now you're aware. You may not be really aware. I mean, I went over that fairly fast. But now you know how to make decisions. It's not whether you can afford it. It's not whether you have the time. It's do you really want it? We had a lady
Do you really want it? Great way to kick off your day on Tuesday morning. Take a look at what we're doing. What do you want? In order to get what you want, you've got to go where you've never been. But all that being said, you've got to make a decision. Are you worthy? Are you worthy of the good that you desire? And I can tell you, you are. The question is, do you believe it? Do you believe it? Send us a message. You're ready to get started. Have a wonderful day.